How advanced do you think America is when it comes down to drones? Whether it's commercial, war, military, how advanced do you think we are? This is America. We built the iPhone, we built Walmart, we built a lot of technology, we built a lot of great things. What do you think we rank? 30% of the market, 50%, 20%? What do you think we are? Like, we're making probably the best ones for military, for warfare. We're seeing Ukraine and Russia. Did you know 60 to 80% of the damages and casualties in the war between Russia and Ukraine was due to FPV drones? Do you know 83,000 target strikes that Ukraine did in a single month? 2/3 of those strikes were through FPV drones. This is today modern day warfare. Drones are important. Do you know who owns apparently 70 up to 90% of the production in drones worldwide? It's a company called DJI. Some call it Digi, Digi, all these other ways they pronounce it. That's who produces 70 to 90%. And guess where they're based out of? China. And in America, we're not even competing in this space. And I mean at all. We're talking single digits. We're going to talk about that today. If you get value out of this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. So check this out. On June 6th, President Trump announces an executive order that he signed titled Unleashing American Drone Dominance. Unleashing. Don't we do it already? Aren't we pretty good at drones? Do you know how many drone companies we have in America? Roughly 500. Lots of them are startups, but 500 drone companies. These 500 drone companies, how many total drones do you think we produce in America per year? So 500? If each do 10,000 a year, that's 5 million. If each do 1,000 a year, that's 500,000. Do you know how many we do? We only produce 100,000 drones per year from the 500 companies. What did you say? That's right. Only 100,000 drones from 500 companies. How's that even possible? You said something earlier that this company called DJI produces 70, 90% of the numbers. Does it really? Let me give you some of the data. Here you go with the numbers. It tells us DJI does 70 to 90% of drones worldwide. You know what number 2 is? It's a company you've heard of before. That company is called General Atomics. They produce roughly 1 to 2% of the drones, and it's military grade. You know what number 3 is? Lockheed Martin. You know what they do? Less than 1%. Number 4 is Northrop Grumman, 1%. Then number 5 is AeroVironment. Guess what they are? Also 1%. So first place is 70 to 90%. Everybody else is 1%, 1%, 1%. Yes. Why is that? Why are we not competing in this space? I mean, we do hear about investors like Peter Thiel supporting American drone companies like Anduril, Unusual Machines. You hear 4 different companies receive the DIU funding for field tests. You got Dragoon and AeroVironment tested in Alaska. 2 others tested drones in Ukraine. Yet at the same time in Ukraine, you mean to tell me in drone, their warfare innovations, this guy named Alexander Yakovenko founded TAF Drones in response to Ukraine's need for combat drones. You know how many they produce? They produce 1,000 drones a day. A company, TAF, $500 each, what they produce. Like I said earlier, 80% of Russian casualties were inflicted because of drones. That's 1 million people through drones. In June of 2025, 100 plus Ukrainian drones struck deep in Siberia. Think about freezing cold, damaging 20 Russian warplanes. The most significant attack on Russia's soil since World War II, and Ukrainian drones versus destruction ratio. $500 drone versus $5 million Russian TOS-1 rocket launcher. Think about that. A $500 drone blew up a $5 million Russian TOS-1 rocket launcher. Talk about a great rate of return when you're going against your enemies. Now, keep in mind, this place I'm talking about in Ukraine, it's a one factory. It's not 50 spots all across Ukraine. It's one place that produces 1,000 a day at $500 a piece. And then when you think about the companies that we produce in America, when they're doing their testing, one drone misses target by 80 feet, another one crashed immediately upon launch, a third one collided with a nearby mountain, highlighted major gaps in reliability, navigation, of resilience. And on top of that, in America, we have something called regulation, over-regulation. Some regulation takes months. FAA's got to come in and say, well, you know, you can't, you got to take your time. So a lot of the startup projects in America have been just dumped and says, I don't even want to mess with it. I'm going abroad. We're going to build this somewhere else because you're just too slow in America to be paying attention to this. And in the States, the incentive was more about building the bigger military drones, not the smaller ones, versus DJI in Ukraine and other places are like, no, let's focus on the smaller ones. But you hear what a smaller one did what? A $500 drone destroyed a $5 million Russian TOS-1 rocket launcher? Are you kidding me? And the ones that are produced in America, the pricing is much higher, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000. A company that's working on one right now called Neros, a California startup, it's going to be around $2,000 per drone. They're planning on producing 1,500 drones per month by hand, planning on scaling to 1 million per year, which is a good thing if they're able to get there. You know, it's crazy when you think about everything that's going on right now with China, Israel, Hamas, Ukraine, Russia, all these wars. And we're like, well, it's not going to happen to America. But the reality is, if you go back to 1944, okay, we're talking about World War II. Do you know we were producing one B-24 bomber an hour? 650 a month. Look at the picture. What you see in the picture, we produce one of those every 55 minutes. 650 of those per month. Why? We were ready. By the way, we didn't have 5 factories today like the General Dynamics and, Northrop Grumman and Raytheon, and that was it. We had 50 companies competing against each other. And America had this Ford Willow Run plant in 1942. It's like, we're going to get this done. Innovation, speed, mobilization, wartime mentality. And now it's over-regulation. It's taken 13 years to build a ship. It's taken years to produce product. We no longer had the urgency that we had before. So I'm kind of glad that the president has something called Unleashing American Drone Dominance. Just imagine, say somebody decides to attack us. You look up in the sky, we have 20 massive drones. You see 300,000 drones up in the sky coming, like birds flocking. And they just go to different properties and homes and military bases, hitting a plane here, hitting a tank here, hitting a property here, hitting a base over here. 300,000 of them. What do we do? How do we fight against it? Are we ready for it? I saw a video where Morgan Freeman was the president and his bodyguard is Gerard Butler. And you see these drones all of a sudden coming up. He grabs the president, throws him in the water, goes underwater so the drones don't get him. You're watching the movie like, oh, this is just a movie. Like this, it's already here. Literally, like this, it's already here. The only question is, are we the ones ready to protect ourselves, or is it happening around the world?